Julie came from a very wealthy family. Her parents were rich and lived in a beautiful mansion. Julie herself was a stunningly beautiful young lady, admired by many for her charm and grace. But the most important thing in Julie's life was her parents. They loved her dearly and treated her like their precious treasure. They always made sure to take care of her, and never once did they joke or play around when it came to her well-being. For them, Julie was the best thing that had ever happened in their lives. Every evening, Julie's family would sit together, sharing stories and laughing. The sound of their laughter filled the house with warmth and happiness. They were not just a family, they were a team, always there for each other, supporting and loving one another. It seemed like nothing could ever break their bond. One day, Julie called her mother, a serious tone in her voice. "Mom," she said, "I know we are rich and I am so grateful for everything we have. But when it comes to love, I don't want to marry for money. I want to marry for love. Even if the man I love has nothing but a barrow to push, I wouldn't mind. I want a man who will love me for who I am, not because of my wealth." Her mother, hearing the sincerity in her daughter's voice, smiled softly. "Julie, we love you so much. We want nothing but the best for you. If this is what you want, we will always support you. You have our blessings. As long as you are happy with the person you choose, that is all that matters to us." Julie felt a sense of peace after talking to her mother. She knew that her parents' love and support meant the world to her. They would never push her into anything she didn't want. She knew they wanted her happiness above everything else. Julie's beauty, however, was something that always attracted attention. Every time she stepped outside, men flocked around her, admiring her stunning looks. They tried to impress her with their charming words and sweet gestures. But Julie wasn't interested. She knew what she wanted in a man, and she wasn't willing to settle for anything less. Julie was careful. She didn't want to make any mistakes. She wanted to find a man who would love her for who she was, not for her wealth or beauty. She understood that true love couldn't be found just by looks or material things. She wanted someone who would stand by her, share in her dreams, and love her deeply. Her friends and family would sometimes ask why she wasn't interested in the men who admired her. But Julie just smiled and said, "I haven't found the right one yet." She knew in her heart that the right man would come along when the time was right. And until then, she would wait patiently, knowing that true love was worth the wait. Julie's story was just beginning. Her journey to finding true love was one that would take time, but she was determined to stay true to herself and her values. She believed in love, not wealth, and she knew that when the right person came along, everything would fall into place. And so, Julie continued to live her life, surrounded by love from her family and the hope of one day finding the kind of love she had always dreamed of. One sunny afternoon, Julie decided to take a walk outside. She loved the feeling of fresh air on her face and the peacefulness of the open space. As she strolled down the road, her eyes fell on a young man sitting by the side of the path, sorting through a small pile of clothes. He looked busy but looked up when she approached. The young man's name was Ben. He was not well dressed, nor did he have the look of someone with great wealth. In fact, Ben was very poor. He sold clothes in the local market to earn a living. But there was something about him, something in his eyes, that caught Julie's attention. "Hello," Julie said, giving him a warm smile. Ben, surprised by her kindness, stood up to greet her. "Hi, I'm Ben. It's nice to meet you." Julie nodded and they began talking. As the conversation flowed, Julie found herself enjoying Ben's company more and more. Ben was kind-hearted, humble, and had a sense of humor that made her laugh. He wasn't trying to impress her with riches or grand words. Instead, he just shared stories of his life, his dreams, and his struggles. Julie felt comfortable with him, and soon, they were sitting under a large tree by the side of the road, chatting and getting to know each other better. Ben couldn't believe his luck. Here was a beautiful woman from a wealthy family, sitting with him and listening to him like he was the most important person in the world. "You're really paying attention to me," he said, almost in disbelief. "You're from such a rich family, and yet you're talking to me like I'm someone special. Are you sure your parents would accept me? I don't have much to offer." Julie smiled, touched by his honesty. Ben, it's not about money or what you have, it's about who you are, and I like who you are, she said softly. If I love you, my parents will accept you. They just want me to be happy, and I am happy with you. Ben looked at her, his eyes wide with amazement. You love me? He asked, his voice filled with emotion. I've already fallen for you, Julie, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I know I don't have much, but I will always do my best to make you happy. Julie felt her heart swell with happiness. I love you too, Ben, and I'm sure my parents will accept you as long as I'm happy with you. Don't worry about anything. The next day, Julie was so excited to introduce Ben to her parents. She took him to their mansion, holding his hand tightly as they walked through the front door. Her parents, who had always been protective of her, were surprised to see her bring a young man home. But when they saw the way Ben looked at Julie with such love and admiration, they could see how happy she was. Julie's mother smiled and said, It's clear that you care about our daughter, Ben. We can see that, and that's what matters most. Welcome to our home. Her father nodded in agreement. As long as Julie is happy, we're happy. Ben felt relieved and grateful. He had feared that Julie's parents would never accept him because of his lack of wealth. But their warm welcome made him feel at ease. He knew that they loved their daughter and wanted what was best for her. After some time spent talking and getting to know each other better, Ben shared something important with Julie's parents. I would like to take Julie to meet my mother in our village before we go forward with any marriage plans, he said. I want her to meet the person who raised me, and I want my family to know her as well. Julie's parents agreed without hesitation. Of course, Julie's father said with a smile. Family is important, and we respect that. Julie was excited. She had never been to Ben's village before, but she was eager to meet his family and see where he came from. She trusted Ben and knew that this was the next step in their journey together. So the following week, Julie and Ben set off for the village. Ben's heart was full of nervous excitement. He was bringing Julie, the woman he loved, to meet his family, and although he had little to offer in terms of wealth, he had a heart full of love and hope for the future. When they arrived in the village, Ben's mother was waiting for them. She was a kind woman with a warm smile and eyes that reflected the same love Ben had shown Julie. She welcomed Julie with open arms and made her feel at home. It was clear to Julie that Ben had been raised in a loving, caring environment, and that made her love him even more. As they sat together, talking and getting to know each other, Julie knew that this was just the beginning of their love story. They may not have had everything, but they had each other, and that was enough. She was more certain than ever that she had made the right choice. And as Julie and Ben looked into each other's eyes, they both knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, with love, hope, and the support of their families. This was only the beginning of their journey, and Julie couldn't wait to see where it would take them. After Ben and Julie arrived in his village, they were greeted by his mother, a kind and humble woman. She welcomed Julie with open arms and a warm heart. My daughter, Ben's mother said, we love you so much. This is your home now. Feel relaxed and know that you can always come to me as your second mother. You are part of this family. Julie was deeply touched by Ben's mother's kindness. It was clear to her that even though they lived in a poor village, the love and respect Ben's family had for one another were priceless. Julie felt lucky to have found such a loving family, and she couldn't help but feel blessed. She loved Ben even more now, seeing how much he cherished his mother, despite their modest means. Julie wanted to call her parents and let them know that they had reached Ben's village safely and that his mother had accepted her. But when she took out her phone, she realized there was no network. Ben's village had no signal, and the only way to get a network was to climb a tall tree. Don't worry, I'll be quick, Julie told Ben, who smiled and nodded, not thinking twice about it. Julie walked into the nearby bush and began to climb the large tree in search of a signal. As she reached the top, her foot slipped, and she lost her balance. Before she could react, Julie screamed in shock as she tumbled to the ground, crying out in pain and fear. Ben, who had been waiting near the house, heard her scream and rushed over. His heart sank when he saw Julie lying on the ground, her face twisted in pain. Without wasting a moment, Ben picked her up gently and rushed her to the nearest hospital. The doctors examined her carefully and discovered that she had dislocated her shoulder. It was a serious injury that required her to stay in the hospital for several weeks. During this time, Julie's parents had no idea what had happened. They assumed Julie and Ben's mother were getting along well, enjoying their time together in the village, and didn't bother to check on them. When Julie finally recovered and was able to leave the hospital, Ben and Julie returned to the city. They were both eager to begin the next chapter of their lives. To their joy, Julie's father generously sponsored a grand wedding for them. It was a beautiful celebration filled with laughter, music, and love. Many family members and friends came to join in the festivities. It was a wedding Julie had always dreamed of, grand and full of love. After the wedding, Julie's father bought them a mansion in the city. It was a beautiful, spacious home, and they both felt blessed. Julie and Ben had everything they needed and more. As a gift, Julie's father gave Ben a large sum of money to start a business. With his new resources, Ben quickly set up a successful business and began to grow it with the support of Julie and her family. Ben was overjoyed. He treated Julie like the queen she was. He pampered her and loved her with all his heart. One evening, as they sat together, Ben looked at Julie and said, "You are the reason I wake up every day. I live for you. I love you so much, my queen. I would do anything for you, even if it meant giving my life for yours." Julie, with tears in her eyes, smiled and replied, "I can't live without you, Ben. You are my everything. You are the air I breathe. I love you more than words can express." From that moment, Julie and Ben continued to live a happy, peaceful life. They cherished every moment they spent together, laughing, growing, and loving each other. They knew that no matter what challenges they faced, their love would carry them through. Moral lessons. This story teaches us many important lessons about love, family, and the true meaning of happiness. True love doesn't depend on wealth or status. It's about caring for and supporting one another. Julie and Ben's love grew stronger because they saw the true value in each other, not in what they had. They showed us that love is about accepting someone for who they are, no matter their background. Family plays a crucial role in our lives, but it's the love and respect we give each other that truly makes a family strong. It also reminds us that, while material things can bring comfort, it's love, kindness, and support from those we care about that make life worth living. Thank you so much for reading this story. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and I'll keep creating more stories that will inspire and entertain you. Stay tuned for more, and I can't wait to share another beautiful story with you all soon. Thank you again for your time, and remember, love, kindness, and hard work can change lives. Take care and stay blessed.